All right, check. All right, and testing. Okay, that sounds good. Okay. Oh, ooh. All right. How are we looking? All right, sweet. Hold on a second. I just got a notification saying that this stream is dropping frames a minute ago. Looks good now. Okay. Sweet. Okay, sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, cool. So, today, if you caught, hello. I'm going to guess how to pronounce your name, Stefane. Sweet, thank you. So yeah, if you saw the events that I put out, I will be working on the PSHTML module that Stefane manages. I think that's you even on right now, which is really cool. So I found it. I did some graphs with it and found that it needed a little bit of love for my use case. And just to give you guys an idea here. There we go. If you're not familiar with PSHTML, writing HTML with PowerShell, that's really as much description as it needs because that's what it does. But one of the things it also does is to write charts, and I want to show you, for anyone watching that hasn't seen this module before, the example that I've got. So I don't want to go into too much detail on this because it's really nerdy. I play this game online that track a lot of data in, and this is an example of one of the, hey, welcome. Just running through what I'm covering today, the PSHTML module. This is an example of one of the things that I'm doing with it. This has got a lot of data points, and you notice that this graph, which was generated with PSHTML, the points, I mean, if you hover over, you can't actually see what color. I'm pointing at my screen so you guys can see it. You can't actually see which color these lines are unless there's these really big jumps, like over here on the right end of it. Actually, here, I'll zoom in so you guys can see it a little better. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to be able to set the point radius because if we actually look at this script, and I'm not a JavaScript guy, I just know how to use the F12 to look at the source of a page. And I don't think I'm blocking. No, not blocking this. So you can see in here, this is using the chart.js, which I read through some of the documentation on, and it, that's all the data. So in here it has, I don't know how to zoom in on this part of my screen. Oh, control scroll, check that out. Okay, so in here, it has, and clicking on it is just gonna move it somewhere else, sorry. So in here, it has, oh my goodness, there we go. You can see it's got the point radius. So that's actually the radius of the points on the graph. And it's got a couple others. Point hit radius, so that's how wide it is where your mouse actually hits it. Or maybe the hover. Ooh, hit and hover, I forget what the difference is between the two. But it's also got the point hover width, hover radius as well. Not width, radius. And so if you actually like hover over these, you can see that it's got the values. And that's important. I like to be able to see that, but I don't want the points on there for my specific use case. So I figured, why not just add that to the module itself so that it can support different point sizes. And Stefan, if I'm saying your name wrong, let me know. But he was nice enough to go ahead and assign me to the issue that I submitted. So we're going to take a look at that. And I'm also, I had it forked before and cloned, and I hadn't done anything to it yet. But for anybody watching that has never, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not, if you write it phonetically, I'm pronouncing it with an American accent. Okay. Okay. I'm pronouncing it like how I would if it were an American name. And my apologies. I am unfortunately. Let's see. Okay. Cool. Thanks. But for anyone watching, I wanted to start by forking the module. I'm sure if you work with any amount of Americans, yeah. So I wanted to start with forking the module in case anyone watching this now or later has never forked a module before in GitHub. It's fairly straightforward, so forking just makes a copy of it for you to work on. So here in GitHub, I'm logged in. I'm looking at his PSHTML module. Just going to hit the fork option. And if you've got multiple organizations, you get these options for it. I'm just going to fork it straight to my own personal GitHub account. And it's usually pretty quick. There we go. And now you notice up here that it says the poshwolf/PSHTML instead of from his repository. And so what this means is I now have a distinct copy of it, and I can clone or download. Let's see, I've got the desktop application. Oop, and for anyone curious, this is what it looks like. Let's see, URL, yep, that's good. Cool, and then it clones it. And now, I think I already had, yes. So you can see my most recent blog post. There we go. So now if we go down to PSHTML, sweet. So here's the cloned repository. So now we have to find where those things are set. So let's start. And this is one of the fun things about working on other people's modules, is that they do things differently. So, but the good thing is he's got everything in a code folder. And so functions, actually, let me back up a second. I want to show you guys, for anyone that's not familiar with how this works. Let's see. I want to show you guys an example of how I'm using this specifically. Oh, I've got this on my other screen. So we're going to ignore all the data gathering because that's not pertinent. So to create that page that we saw earlier, I'm using the PSHTML module. I have got so I've got HTML, so it creates the page, and I've got a header. So well, actually, this is the main header. Let me grab the actual page. Oh, here we go. So here we go. So this is what that page we're looking at with the graph. So I got the HTML. I've got the header. So it's a war inside of this game. I'm not gonna go into details on that. And then inside of the body, I've got that H1, and we can actually go back and look at this. So I got the H1, this war thing, and I just got charts are cool inside of here. So I copied his example from his repository and just added my stuff to it. So a lot of this, I mean, that's why some of it's there. And thank you, Stefan, for the examples, by the way. And then we've got to add canvases. So that's what the charts are added to. And I actually create my canvas up here on line 41. So canvas, it uses the canvas command, which if we go to the PSHTML module, inside of the public, we've got a huge list of all kinds of, I don't know, is the right word for these HTML tags that you might use. So for instance, inside of Canvas, we've got the code that creates a canvas. If we scroll down and actually look at it, you can see that he's just depending on his set HTML tag commandlet, which we're going to take a look at. Oh, I think that might be a private function. Yeah. Set HTML tag. And I haven't spent a lot of time dissecting all of this. So I might actually glaze over a lot of this because I was specifically looking for. Oh yeah, sure. I can skip to that really quick. I'm using Azure. I've got it in a storage account, a Gen 2 storage account that supports static hosting. That's all it is. And so I wrote a script to actually upload those HTML files. So I mean that's as big of an explanation as that needs. So I can do that right now. Yeah, pretty simple. Okay, so back to this, and yeah, hope that helps. And like I said, it's as easy as using S3. I had Azure credit, so I wanted to do it in Azure, so I liked that. So we've got the canvas to actually put the charts in. You notice I'm actually assigning it to a variable. And then before you can create the charts, you can actually kind of create the data sets. So that's what I'm doing here on 45, 46, and 47. And I've got 3 data sets, specifically one for each of these kingdoms, and then I've got 1 point on here for when this actually started. And I'm not going to go into details on what specifically we're looking at. Just the chart data is what's important. And then we're creating a new chart using a new PSHTML chart. And it's specifically a line chart, and it's got the 3 data sets there. And so the place where we would actually set that point radius, we can start with the new PSHTML chart line data set. Instead of jumping right into where the edits are happening, I kind of wanted to run through this in case you haven't looked at the PSHTML module before, and maybe you're not intimately familiar with it like Stefan is. Let's see, so new PSHTML chart line data set. So in here, this commandlet is what you can use to set the line color, the label, and so you notice that that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm setting 1 to blue, or 1 to red, 1 to blue, giving it the label. And then if we scroll down further in the code, he's actually creating a dataset line object. So, safe assumption that there's a class called dataset line. So if we look at his classes, components, charts, go to charts. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's just do dataset line. I'm just gonna. All right. So this dataset line, which is a child of that. So actually, let's go back to dataset. So we've got a child class, or sorry, a parent class here that just creates some of the basic information. Okay, so the label, adding data, nice. Okay, and if we go to dataset line, this is where. So we've got all the settings for that graph, and these settings are all passed to the chart.js. I'm not familiar with how that happens, so we're not going to get into that because I believe, and we'll find out, I believe we can set all of that point information without having to worry about getting into how it interacts with chart.js. So I believe that Stefan set us up for success here to just add this in and not have to worry about that part of it, which is cool. Okay, so we've got point radius. Okay, sweet. Yeah, great. And he's even watching it, so he can tell us in real time. Nice. So we've got point radius, the point hit radius, as well as the point hover radius. So those are the properties that I specifically want to be able to set. But you notice that, yeah, there are properties on the class, but there's not a get or a set method for those. And yeah, we can do set line color, line background color, and that's it. So, we already went back and forth on this. We can add some getters and setters and see what happens. So, I believe this is actually going to be fairly straightforward. We'll find out. So the first thing that I'm going to do in this class is to, let's see, add a couple of methods. We've got set point. Actually, I'm going to pull up the issue because I forget what the name was. I think it was point settings. Let's see, set point radius is what I suggested, but set point settings. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so set point settings. Since I was thinking one method to set multiple settings, since they're all, I mean, fairly similar. So we'll do set point settings, and we're going to have 3 integers, point radius. Oh, sorry. Let's see, and then point hit radius, and then point hover radius. Okay, cool. And then it's just a matter of saying this dot point hit radius. Whoops, let's actually start to do this in order. This dot point radius equals point radius, and then this dot point hit radius equals point hit radius, and then this dot point hover radius equals point hover radius. Okay, sweet. So that should actually set those. We'll find out. And then if we do get, oh, that was quick. Welcome back. Oh, sorry, I got confused. The other guy said he left. I was like, oh, you said you were going to be gone. Yeah, thanks for joining. We're actually getting into the class and editing it now. So we did a set for those point settings I was talking about earlier, and now we're doing a get. So get point settings, and that's just going to be doesn't need any input. And so this is one of the things that I struggled with was the output for this. Because we could do, this is one way I was thinking about doing it, and I'm not set either way yet. We could say point radius equals this dot point radius. There we go. And then point, let's see, hit, oh, whoops. Point hit radius equals this dot point hit radius. And so what I was thinking here about doing it this way, oh, this is a PS object. Sorry, my chair slowly lowers me to the ground. Actually, let's make this a hash table. And I'll show you why I'm thinking that. Point hover radius equals this dot point hover radius. Okay. So if we return a hash table, then we can actually use that as a splat for setting the set point radius. So if you've got multiple dataset line objects, you can do a get from one into a set for the other. I wonder if that has to be a hash table or not. We'll find out. Okay, so we'll make that change to the class so that we can actually set and get that. And I think that I'm following along with the same style that you used to feign. Oh, that's a good idea. We'll add some right verboses. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. So right verbose, you're saying dataset line, set point settings, start. That's a good idea to do this inside of your methods. I don't, but I think I'm going to start doing that. That's a fun thing about working on someone else's modules. You get to see how they code, which for me has given me a lot of ideas to use for how I do things. Like this, for example. This is a great example. Okay. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking. Is just throw the verbose flag, and then the class will actually output verbosity. I hadn't thought of that before. I always end up doing some really hacky debugging when I'm debugging classes. Okay, so we got the get and we got the set for that class. So then, yeah, I'm sure anyone that's worked with classes, well, unless they started with a background in something else, has probably done something similar. Okay, so then we got to do new PSHTML chart line data set. And here, okay, sweet. I got the good help in there. Let's see, we got large line chart type, line chart. What are you curious about while I'm adding these in here? Point hit radius. I'm curious to know what you're curious about. While you're working on that, we've got the three. What do I do, like in general, like for work? We've got the 3 points. So I do 2 things right now. Primarily, actually, it should be on my if you scroll down. Well, if you're on my stream, if you're on the PowerShell live channel, it's not going to be there. But I manage tech snips with Adam Bertram. So we produce a lot of training content. We work with contributors to improve and that sort of thing. And then I also have got my own consulting business, Howl IT. So if you were watching earlier, I showed up on my my GitHub organizations, I think is what it's called. And there, since I run my own consulting business, I just do PowerShell consulting because I get to choose what kind of consulting I want to do. All right, so, and then, actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm thinking through this while I'm talking, trying to do 2 things at once, and that's a lot of fun. Working for yourself is a lot of work, though. So just make sure you know that up front. Otherwise, you're gonna burn yourself out, which I may or may not be kind of doing at the moment. But the streaming part is a good change of pace. Let me tell you guys what I'm thinking here. So I'm thinking, so what we've got here is if one of these parameters exists, like we'll use this fill background color, he sets it. But since I added all 3 of those point settings to one setter, if any one of those is passed, we got to set all 3. So what I'm thinking is, do we just set them all to 0 and then or set them all to maybe not 0, but a default value, and then automatically run that setter? I'm actually leaning towards that, unless someone watching's got a better idea, because I think. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So then, good to know. We do want to be able to see. Well, depending on the application, we may or may not want to see them. So I'm guessing the radius is what needs to be set if we do want to see them, because I see that you don't have a default value for the hit radius or the hover radius. Okay, so I'm going to use the point radius, I'm going to use that as the default value for the point radius. So we'll say, let's see, point radius equals 4, and the rest of these I'm going to set equal to 0, If not, it'll look like a straight line, actually. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Well, I guess we can try that out and see what happens. Actually, let's... I want to look at this and see what it sets as a default value for... Because we didn't... Through the module, it's not setting the hit and hover point radiuses. And I want to see what the script actually set those. And you may already be familiar. Yeah, point hover is 0. Point hit is null. Interesting. So maybe it shouldn't be an integer if you can set it to null. This has got me thinking now. Should it be an integer? Does it accept decimal values? Let's find out. I think, if I remember correctly, in the docs, you've got a link to the chart.js docs. Let's see, charts, yes. Let's see. Next feature, zoom. Yeah, that would be great. If charts.js actually supports that. Here, I'm gonna take a look at that link. Zoom and pan for chart.js. Yeah, that would be sweet. But for these charts, yeah, here we go. Oh, I guess I could have just typed in chartjs.org. Okay, get started. So I think in these docs, I've looked here. I'll zoom in on this slightly for you guys. There you go. So I believe, let's see chart. So for a line chart, dataset properties, we've got, so point hit radius 1 is a number. Crap. Does a number mean it can be a decimal value or not? Point hit radius, the pixel size of a non-displayed point that reacts to mouse events. Point hover radius, the radius of the point when hovered. So I'm going to guess if it's saying where we're at here, line styling. Was there another point here? Point radius, the radius of the point shape is set to 0, points not rendered. Point hit radius, it says pixel size. So I would guess that needed to be an integer. You know what? I think. Let's try something. So let's see. So I've got. Oh, so yeah, this is all the data that I'm graphing. No. Let me. No, it's not get. I thought I had the HTML pages output somewhere. So what we can do is we can just edit it and add in decimal, and so there's that one. Let me show you guys what I'm thinking here. So let's see, copy it to Azure. There you go. So I'm just creating a static site. So staging path is, oh, there it is. Okay, so we're gonna go here, and this will make sense as soon as I get here. Watch. So I've got the HTML pages here, and if we look at one of these, actually, you know what we can do? Let's open with code. Yes. Okay. So if we look at one of these, we can. Yeah, I know. I was really excited when he said he was going to be here, because in case I screw something up, I've got the author to ask about it. But here. So when I was talking about doing integer versus a float, decimal value versus whole number, what I want to do is I want to see if we can go point radius. Can you guys see that all right? Let me zoom that in. There's a lot. This is just a wall of text. So point radius here, I'm setting it to 1.5. And let's see, point hover radius, I'm going to set to 0.5. Or 0.5, I guess. 0.5. And then point radius, point hit radius. Do you guys see a point hit radius? Border, point rotation. Here it is. So what I want to do is I just want to see if the chart supports decimal values. So yeah, that's the one we just edited. Okay. Okay, so it looks like it does. You can see the points on the red line that they're a lot smaller. And it's just on the top graph. So let's look at the script here. Let's see. So point, yeah, because a couple other of these have other decimal values, and so that's why I was thinking. So point radius equals 4. What? Am I looking at the wrong one? Point radius equals 4. Where did I edit that? It's on the first chart, yeah. Oh, I scrolled down too far. Okay, yeah. Point radius 1.5. Let's see. Point rotation. Point hit radius 0.5. Point hover background red. Point hover color null. Point hover radius 0.5. So I'm going to switch that from an integer to float, I think. Well, actually, we'll do that. And then we'll do some testing, of course. And if it breaks, well, we will figure out what to do at that point. Okay, so let's go back to here. Oh, I don't want to look at the working tree. Yeah, and if this breaks, I mean, we'll fix it. We'll switch it back. I mean, integer and float, that's an easy change. Oh, so you already have it declared as an integer here. So we're going to go ahead and change it. And what is that? Not a, there we go. Yeah. So point hit radius can actually take an array. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, so I'm just thinking through the point hit radius. Is that okay? Would that be for each different point? Is that why it can take an array? Let's find out. Pixel size and on display point that reacts to mouse event. Yeah, I don't know. Is that intentionally an array, Stefan? Well, I've got you. I'll leave that alone for now. Point hover radius. Okay, so I'm gonna try setting it back, or setting it not to be an array, and see what happens. And if we break it, go back and fix it. I mean, obviously this is my local dev environment, so if we break it, oh well. That's the beauty of using Git. We can even break it and commit it and then fix it. Well, here locally. All right, so I'm gonna switch these to floats. Save that. And make sure oh yeah, I need to go through them. Okay, and then well, I guess I don't need to open the side panel again. So in the function to actually set them, I'm gonna set them all to floats. And I have not, oh, I got an empty if statement. Okay, cool. So here, I'm gonna make the decision here not to have an if statement for this one, since we have a default value for them, and just say data chart dot set set point settings. I'm already forgetting what I called it. Set point settings. Okay, yeah. Set point settings, and then we've got point radius, point hit radius, and then point hover radius. Okay, sweet. And that should work. We'll find out. Okay, so the next dilemma that I wasn't sure how to solve is developing a module. I got people trying to get hold of me. Give me a second. I gotta decide if this is important enough. Nope. Oh, yeah, we're good. Sorry. That's funny. We'll tell her I said hi. Here, I'll wait for her. Yeah, my daughter likes watching me stream too. She's 18 months and just loves well, first of all, loves anything that happens on the phone. But yeah, loves seeing me when I'm not at home. Well, I guess she loves seeing me at home too. It's not that she doesn't, but okay. So like I was saying before, I got sidetracked by my phone. Sorry about that. I have not developed. So I've got the PSHTML module installed locally, and so it's probably HTML. It's not loaded. Okay, that's good. So I guess the next question is, we get to see, let's see. Okay, so you build using AppVer. Okay. So I was thinking is I could build it locally, but that must be something that I write all my modules so I can build them locally. That might be a lazy way to do it. PNG file in the class. Oh, great question, actually. That is, I was quite impressed with that when I saw it. So when I opened the issue, Stefan actually has a PSClassUtils module, or I got it downloaded locally, that he can actually graph all the classes. So for instance, so data set. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Yeah, here we go. So we were looking at the dataset line class. So if I scroll down, you can see that these are all the properties that are currently on there, and we're adding a couple of methods. But he's got I think he said it was his PSClassUtils, or I can even bring it up, module that was pretty cool in my opinion. I'm just scrolling down. Maybe I went too far. Okay, sorry. I forgot where exactly he linked it, but it was... Oh, yeah, here we go. PSClassUtils. I haven't used this module, so I can't speak to it. Stefan, of course, can answer your questions since it's one of his. But one of the things it did was output that graph, and supposedly, and I say supposedly because I haven't tested it yet, but it will actually write Pester tests for class methods. So we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna try doing that here as soon as we get this finished. So yeah, that's what this PNG file is. Short, the long version of that. Yeah. So we can actually see a graphical representation of what our classes look like if you've got parent classes. Oh, is this a good time for you French folks? It's like the 10:50 a.m. here for me. Good. Well, nice. What do you guys, probably 8 hours ahead of me? I'm gonna guess. I don't know. I'm not familiar with what time zone it is in France. Oh, nice. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm based out of the west coast of the United States, in the state of Oregon. Let's see. Oh, sweet. It will add all functions classes in the PSM1 and set public functions in the export. Okay, sweet. 1850. Okay, yeah, not bad. So, yeah. Nice. Yeah, thanks, Stefan. Let's do that. Oh, nice. Yeah, you have a special folder for it. Okay. The plebeian that I am, I store my build in just the root. Okay, so then let's see. So just use the script PS1, add all functions classes to the PSM1. Okay, sweet. And we will find out where the PSM1. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was seeing if maybe it was a piece hockey or an invoke build. Slash, let's see, 03. Sorry, CI/03. Nice. Yeah, see, one of the things I've been working on the last few streams that I've been doing is adding in these types of things to my modules because I want someone to be able to pick it up and easily add to it like I can with yours. And so I've been adding in build processes and the issue templates, the contributing templates, the help files, all that good stuff. Okay, so the question is, where did it put it? Or did it just drop it in the root? Code. Oh, probably just in PSHTML. Yeah, there it is. Okay, sweet. So now, let's see, /PSHTML. Yeah, that should be all we need. Okay, cool. So, yeah, you're welcome. So if you go to github.com/theposhwolf, I've got a couple of different modules that I've built for primarily for my own use, but I've got all the code out there, and I've been working on making them publicly consumable. So they have my build processes in them. Not that they're like perfect or anything, but you know, they work for those processes. And I've got a couple of my past streams. I put my build processes into Azure DevOps so that it just gets deployed right to the Azure gallery. I see you use AppVeyor. I mean, just a little different. I've not used AppVeyor before, so I can't speak to it. But let's do some testing here. You know, something I didn't think of is coming up. Which one is the coolest one? Well, they're all very use case specific, which makes that hard to narrow down. I'll do a little sidetrack here. I can just click on my name and bring them up. So, unfortunately, here, let me actually look at the public view of my profile. So I got some extra repositories in there. I don't want to get you guys mixed up here. So my PS PDF gen, that depends on an API. So you have to get an API key to actually use it. Same with the eBay module. My Freshdesk module is not something you should look at because it's not complete. So curl to PS, so that's a new one that I literally just started last week in my last stream. It just takes a curl command, it converts it to invoke REST method. It's very simple at this point, so it takes simple commands and converts them. But the end goal there is to be able to take a curl command and convert it to invoke REST method. So all of my modules are dealing with some sort of API. So for instance, my PS Desk module, this is probably the best one to use as a reference because it does the most and it has Pester tests in it. But this depends. This works with a help desk platform called Desk that I recently started moving to because it has an API. And so this module actually interacts with that API. It gets tickets and some other things as well. But I primarily wrote it to... oh, yeah. And, you know, if I'm happy to accept pull requests to my curled PS module if you want to see how I started it. I think it was last week's stream. So if you check my YouTube channel, I can send you a link for that. Or it actually might still be on what am I streaming to? Twitch. Yeah. So hey, thanks for stopping by. Yeah. So I'll spend a couple of minutes on this. This isn't complete yet. It's not a full module. It's literally just one function, and it works with simple commands, and it's not been set up to handle complicated commands. So for instance, if I pull it up here, so this is a lot of regex. Let's see, you can see the URL out of it. So here we go. So it works. So these are the parameters that it can actually find. The header parameter, and this is from curl. The header command or parameter, the request parameter, verbose, which was an easy one, and then the data parameter, and then default it just outputs is unknown. So if you look at the examples that I've got a couple of examples that do actually work. It won't work with everything, but it's a good start. And if you do find things it doesn't work with, you're welcome to open an issue in my module and add to it. I'm always happy to accept pull requests. So for instance, this is just a bunch of headers. And so it converts it to, so if you look at here, the output, the headers, it just converts it to a hash table, to JSON, and then convert from JSON. Since invoke REST method wants a hash table, and since this is outputting as text, outputting a string, that's where I had to have it output a convert from JSON. But if you watched my last week's stream, you can actually see where I went through and figured that out. Tyler was on and he was helping me out with that. But now, whoa, where are we going? Yes, please. I think that'd be really useful. I've just done a lot of modules that were working with REST APIs, and all REST APIs have their docs in curl format. So, I mean, you can learn to convert them fairly easily, but I just got to the point where I was like, this is a lot of knowledge, and I'm not very good at writing blog posts, so I was like, I'll write code. That works. This is fun. Okay, but what I want to do now is actually test these new changes. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to create a new file. I'm going to create a scratch file, and how do you actually name the file? Really? Okay. All right, well, we will create a scratch file inside of the PSHTML module, or PSHTML folder. Okay. I just want to create a scratch file so that if I've got to dump and reload my terminal to reload the new classes, I can still get my data. Let's see, so dataset equals, I'm going to make a really simple line graph here. There we go. And for the data set, I think it's labels equals, let's see, A, B, C, D. What's that? Sorry, I gotta zoom in here. I'm not sure I follow you there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we're gonna create. Oh, that's a good point. Running a Pester test before the test. Have the actual code. Yeah, no problem. Yes, actually, let's do that. Oh, yeah, no worries. So if you haven't used PSClassUtils, well, we're gonna learn how to do that really quick. Let's see. You think it won't be good to do the Pester test? I'm getting PowerShell launched as admin. Sorry for the blank screen there. Install. Oh, here. Okay. Let's see, PSClassUtils. I'm assuming you've got this in the PowerShell gallery. Yeah, well, we can do that. Yep, sweet. You do. Let's see. Just wait for it to install. I didn't install it ahead of time, like I probably should have. Oh well. All right, there you go. PSClassUtils. Okay, and you had an example, so let's grab that. Right. Path source file full name, and I'm gonna guess and say the source file full name is a file with the classes in it. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And this is really nice having you around with the classes. Yeah, okay. Okay, then we'll go back to my Scratch file here. Let's see, so we're just gonna go /code classes / there we go, and export folder path. So what it will do is create a Pester test for every one of the constructors and every one of the methods. Oh, for every single class, I'm guessing. And temp file. Okay. Well, I can always reclone the repo if I need to, but good point. So what I'm guessing is that you've got, oh, so you've got all your charts broken out. Okay, so this makes a lot of sense. Okay, chart options. I'm looking through them right now. Wait, chart options. So then I'm guessing that I would add it to this dataset line. Testing dataset line. Okay, cool. So I'll append it to the end of this file. That's what I'm gonna guess. So temporarily. Okay, cool. So we'll. Oh, that's not new folder. Oh, actually creating the docs temp. Let's get that out of here. No, don't do that. Sorry, I'm trying to move this temp folder right into the root. Oh, where'd it go? So we can, there we go. Yes. But the function is not capable of doing that yet, so you'll have to export the temp. Okay, cool. Okay, I got a temp folder. Okay, so let's go back to my Scratch file here. Folder path, we're just gonna say, actually, it's short enough. We'll just close that side panel. Okay, adding module scope. So we're doing module scope there. PSHTML. And I'm gonna go ahead and run this, see what happens. Oh, I just got a notification. My just dropped a lot of frames. Oh, looks still good. Okay. So write CU Pester test. Let's make sure and actually set that variable first. I'm actually interested to see how this works. Does it have a verbose flag? We're gonna watch the verbose flag. Whoa, that was like instant. You know, I really like how you do your verbose messages. Like I should do that. I like that. Okay, so temp tests. Oh, looks like we might be scrolling a little bit here. Let's see. Actually, you know what we could probably do is dataset line. Yeah. Okay, describe dataset line. Yeah, dataset line characters parameter list not be true. So what we're looking for is should not throw data label. Okay, that's the new, actually I could even say set point setting set points. Oh. Did I grab the right? Did I grab the right class there? Is there multiple files in the temp folder? That was just the one. Oh, Shift Alt F. Really? Let me make sure I'm actually hitting Alt. Let's see. Do I need to select everything first? No, I don't. Whoa, that is brilliant. I did not know that VS Code could do that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's amazing. That's one of those things where it's like, I just remember all the times I've had to manually indent code, and yeah, that's ever described as a class. Okay, so I should be looking for the data set line. Okay. So this describe block is where it will be. Constructors. Oh, okay. So should it have dataset pi, dataset line? I was expecting something to be. So it's got the constructor here, but doesn't have that other set method. Am I missing something? Because that's what I expected here. I haven't used this before. Just close the describe blocks. It does. Okay. 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 Let's. Okay. I see what you mean here. Now. Okay. You and your VS Code hacks here. All right, line charts, constructors. What's creating one? Or am I not low enough yet? Let's see, bar chart, bar data, chart data, constructors. Here, I'm gonna go up and I'm actually gonna go ahead and minimize all of these. Okay. Oh, no, don't click in there. It should have methods. I'm only seeing constructors. I'm not seeing any methods. So here's the command I ran. Write cu pester test on that charts.ps1. Added module scope, PSHTML, and then verbose. Is there a parameter I missed to include methods or something? I'm out of my element here because I've never used the PSClassUtils commandlets. As awesome as they are, I should write the ones with method as well. Let's see, get module PSClassUtils. So we're running version 2.6.3. That makes a difference. Well, I'm gonna look and see chart. Yeah, that should be on the. This should be good. Okay. Chart line. So I'm guessing this is what. Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Chart dataset line tests. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, I see the methods here. I mean, I could just, manually add them in. Should set label. Perhaps just search for the method in the test file. Yeah, let's try it. Okay, so here we go. We'll do so I call it set point settings, and yeah, it's not coming up with anything. So yeah, I don't have a good explanation for why. I mean, I could try running it again, see what happens. But in the meantime, what I can do is case that line. Well, I guess, do you want me to add the Pester tests? If they're not the procedurally generated, I can do my best to mimic. But we can always wait on that because I still haven't even tested to see. Oh, more people trying to get a hold of me. Oh, my wife's sending me pictures of my daughter. Nice. Okay, so what I will do for now, if it's something simple, which I hope it is, let me know. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is to actually test out this new version. And you know what? I'm going to do that in this module. So instead of building a brand new graph, I'm going to use a graph that I was already using. Let's see. I want to go new word graph. Here we go. So chart line data set. That's where we go. Point radius 1. Point hit radius. I'm going to set that to 4. And then point hover radius 4. Now we'll make those 2 since they're going to be close together. Okay, so, and, oh, that third one doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to save that. I might have to rebuild this module. Yeah, give me a second here. What other changes? I wasn't planning on opening this one up today, but it's okay. I would rather actually see a good example. So let's build, or actually gotta tell it the right task. Module build. Okay, so then I've got an update commandlet, and it's got to process data. I'm wondering how long that's going to take, actually, because that might take a couple of minutes, unfortunately. So that might not be a good test. So let's go back to our scratch. Let's see if we can make a good test here. Hey, no problem, Stefan. I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on. It was really helpful to have the original author of the module on. So I'll get this finished up. Oh, sweet. Yeah, that'd be great. Do you want me to add the Pester test to it and just mimic the output? Oh yeah, no, thanks for watching. Streaming's a lot of fun for this exact reason. It's you end up doing not pair programming, but what I've decided to call pair plus programming. You get people that watch over your shoulder and tell you things like Control-Shift-F or Shift-Alt-F in VS Code. So I'll skip the Pester tests. Well, I'll add the Pester tests for now. We can always edit them later. I'll just kind of copy. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. So let's create a graph here. HTML data chart line data set. Let's see, data. It's just going to be my data set, and then labels is just going to be my labels, and then line color will make it orange, and then point radius. I'm gonna make the points a hash table just so I can set and unset those really easily. So point radius equals 0, point hit radius equals 0, point hover radius equals 0. And then what I'll do is at the end of this, I'll just do an at points. Okay. But I also need to do this. So for anyone that's seen the PSHTML module before, whoops, a lot of this is going to be similar, but I'm gonna create my HTML block. I'm going to create a canvas block. I can't remember if these actually need to be inside of it. So we're going to put them inside of it. Let's see. And then we're going to do new PSHTML chart. Let's see, canvas ID. Well, actually, we got to do a canvas. Crap. It's been a while since I've actually done that. I did this now. Oh, we got to set the height and width for the canvas. Okay. Actually, I'm just going to grab this right out of here. Shamelessly copying my own stuff. Okay. Height equals. We'll do 400 px. Width equals. I've got a 1920 by 1080 monitor, so we'll go 800 px. ID equals. I think I just call it canvas. And what was the last one? Prop. Okay. So then, I don't think it's doing it as a block. So canvas ID now is canvas, and type is line, and data set. Oh yeah, it is. Let's see, lines data set. So we gotta go line data set equals my data set. So this should output HTML. So HTML. Oh, I gotta set it. I gotta set that output. Oh, and I've got to also do this. Yeah. So for each of the charts, I actually have to set. Here, I'll show you. So I got to add the script source here, otherwise it doesn't work. And then add the script block in the charts. So, all right. So there we go. So I've got the data set. I got the chart. I got the script, and then I got to go HTML equals. And then with that HTML data, which I believe is just a plain block of string when it's done, yeah, out file. Yeah, so HTML out file ./test.html. So now, with this, invoke with 0 parameter can be found on max prop. Did I? Okay, so let's just get rid of that. Oh my goodness. Cannot convert value to type system string. So out content parameters post key. So that's from inside the module somewhere. 1477. So let's find. Whoa, that's a lot of lines. 1477. And let's give us some more space to work with here. So where are we at here? Process, begin. Set HTML tag. Okay. And here, parameters, so content. Interesting. So did I forget something? I'd be willing to bet that I just need to put this. So I'm back in my the other module I have that does graph. Oh, probably need to put it in a body. That's gonna be my guess. Let's see, canvas. Oh, so I don't need to actually set the canvas inside of the HTML. I forgot about that. Okay, but what we will do. Oh, okay. So yeah, what we'll do is I'm gonna pull that out of there. Canvas equals, and then have a body. Since this needs to be inside of a body, so that's output. Okay, so charts inside of the script. Okay, so this should. Forgot the canvas. So canvas, and for anyone that's watching that's done web development before, this is probably makes more sense to you than it does to me, but it still isn't working. Convert type to system. Okay, so maybe this labels is I'm fairly certain that needs to be a string array, but it still is not working. Convert value to type system string. Okay, so then let's before I dig too much into that, I wanted to see, oh, the canvas is inside of a div inside of the body. I'm just using the example I have to make this replicate that as much as possible before I get too much into trying to debug this. Still not working. Okay. Div canvas. So I think I'm going to simplify this a little more. I'm going to take this code out of the HTML because it doesn't actually need to be in there. That's just the canvas because this is set inside of the canvas ID is canvas. Yep. See dataset line, dataset, nice. So charts. So I've got my HTML, I got my body, the div. Let's see the script. That looks good. So on this one, I've got HTML, so I got head, body, so I don't need a header. Well, maybe I do need a header. I'm assuming not. So inside the div, I've got the canvas. Let's see about this. So I had HTML data. So that's okay. So let's see where this is happening. Whoops, F9. Why is that not working? There we go. Oop. Okay, so let's see how good my debugging skills are. Okay, so this looks a little better. Labels is required. Okay. Did I miss? Oh, labels. That would be why. Okay, so I just made a little typo there in my new PSHTML chart line. Dataset. Okay. Let's go ahead and break out of that. Is label for each line. So it takes an array. So you can notice here I got an array of labels, and I've got an array for my dataset. So this, the first index will correlate to the first index in the dataset. And so it should. I really want this to work, so this will make sense. But 1 on the chart should correlate to A on the y-axis or x-axis. View one line, you only have one label. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Maybe I'm. Okay. You're absolutely right. Okay. I screwed up here. Yeah. No, you're right. You're going down the right path here. Okay, so I was confusing them. You're absolutely right. There is a label, not per point, but per, well, actually, essentially per point on the x-axis of the chart, but that's actually set here in new PSHTML chart. You'll notice that there's a nice labels property. And this should be labels, which is what I've got here. And then in the new PSHTML chart line dataset, the label is you're absolutely right, 1 per line. So this is my, I'm just going to call it the line 1 label. It'd be really, really original. And so this does actually work. Thank you for that one. That was good. But now we should be able to go to open up that, let's see, test.html and see our chart or a blank page. Point radius is 0. So we've got all the data, or no, we don't. Data is, I see data set to null here. Okay. So let's Whoop, wrong. There we go. So back to the one I'm working on. So data I've got set to, I don't think data set. Did I miss an error there? I unfortunately have no JavaScripting debugging experience, but it's not getting any data. So I'm assuming that I'm not passing the data correctly. So I'm going to look at the example that I did before in my, let's see. Let's look, news data. Okay, so it's that should output as an array of numbers. Well, let's look here, dataset. So it is an object. So I wonder if instead of an object, it needs to be. Oh, what is an int32 array? Oh, let's check. See, I wouldn't even know to check that. Oh. Oh, that's a good point. Points have radius of 0. Well, the line should still be displayed, but let's see, uncaught. I'm not sure how to interpret what I'm looking at here, but yeah, there is an error in the console. Good call there. Invalid or unexpected token. I'm not sure what to do with these errors though, other than look at the data here and assume that the data is missing labels. Here, let's look at this one. So this is one that does work. So I've got the labels, and then show. Oh, wait a second. This actually errors on this one too. Okay, so we'll go back here. Show test HTML source. Let's see, last error. Chart not found. Okay, so let's look. So here's the errors. Chart is not defined. So then here, let me open up the, that's a good point to actually look at the source code. Oh. So I'm gonna see if this is gonna work. Oh, that's brilliant. I just did the Shift Alt F for HTML. That's awesome. Okay. Canvas context. My chart equals new chart. And if there's something specific that you're interested in here, div canvas. I mean, this looks, let's see, data. So we get the labels, data set. Point border, point radius of 0. Maybe that needs to be changed. Yeah, because, let's see, point rotation, point hit radius of 0. Those are the ones I set, and then the point hover radius of 0. Oh, there is the data. So it is actually getting the data. I didn't see that. Okay, so label line 1. Okay, so let's whoops. What I want to do is look at I'm looking at the elements on this chart that does work. Because I don't remember what the point radius. I did 1 point. They were all positive values. So let me just switch these. I'll set these to 1, because it may be that they don't, being set to 0 is what breaks them. So point hit radius and then point radius. Okay, we'll do a save there. And so now we're looking at the chart again. We'll do a refresh. And nothing still. Okay, so if we look at 2 errors, let's go to console. Reference error, chart is not defined. Let's see, invalid or unexpected token syntax in chart. Okay, so let's see options. I didn't change anything else. I wonder if you've got ideas, give me a shout. But I'm pulling up chart not found that could relate to the new chart. Let's see, charts equals new PSHTML line chart, type line, dataset, labels. Is failing. Yeah, that sounds, yeah, that makes sense. So we've got charts here that we've already set with new PSHTML chart, the canvas ID, so the canvas is up there. GFGS.min file on disk. The answer to that is I don't know. But really quick, I'll check because I think it's included in the module itself. But what I want to do, as I'm just looking at, this is a working chart already, and I wanted to see if I've got anything different here. So chart type dataset. Maybe I'm forgetting the title. Maybe it needs a title. Ooh, that's reaching. But I'm gonna try it. Title. So then we'll output that, but there's still values of zeros. You specify the URL to chart.min.js as script. Oh, okay. So I see what you're saying. Okay, so that would be this guy right here. So I'm looking at the PSHTML. Is that downloading correctly? How would I be able to test that? Remember, you're talking to a PowerShell guy, not a JavaScript guy. So if I will go back to test.html, reference error, chart is not defined. I'm not sure how to test to see if that's downloading correctly. Script source. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so here's the page that is working. And I believe it's the same. I copied and pasted that straight out of there. So yeah, the source, chartmin.js, in the HTML. Oh, in the HTML. Okay. Yeah, let's bring that up. Let's see. So that's in D310.6.2. Shoot, this one actually changed since I only do a refresh. Oh. They all broke now. Okay, so, what that means is that change broke it. Did not expect that. Huh. Yeah. Okay, so something I did broke it. Yes. Yeah, well, I refreshed it because I was looking at the previously loaded version of it. So, yeah. That was a great idea to compare it to the existing page. Okay, so but if we that error suggested that it was on line, let's see, throw label is, so that was before I set the label, and then we weren't getting errors when it was working. Okay, so let's take a look. So I guess the problem was, oh, I shouldn't say I guess. I think the problem is that I made 2 changes here at once. I switch this to a float, and I set it to be set. So I'm gonna start with the lowest common denominator. Lowest common denominator here. I'm gonna set these to integers, which they were originally. And back here, what are the pending changes? So I added this method, set point settings, and get point settings. And so I'm actually looking. I'm actually just switching them, the data types back to integers, because I made two changes. I both added in this method, and I changed the type. And so I'm switching that type back, and then I want to test it. And then figure out if that actually affects the rest of it. And so I hadn't committed it yet because I wanted to test it first, and so I can't use the get changes. But it's only a couple of changes, so I was actually aware of them. Oops. So let's see. .ci 3. So I'm gonna rebuild this. Yeah, I did. That's a good point. So maybe Stefan had the same problem when he dealt with it, and that's why it was an array. Huh. That's gonna be really funny. That's what happens. Okay, so I just rebuilt it, switched it back from a float to an integer. Oh, I didn't re-import it. Since it has a class, I'm gonna dump that PowerShell session and reopen it. Or restart that. Import module./PSHTML. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna build it. Don't get any errors, but that's not necessarily a good thing. So let's. Okay, so that integer didn't fix it. And let's look at those errors. So chart is not defined. Same errors as before. Okay. So let's go back, and now this time I am going to have to review the actual changes because I don't remember which one I took out of an array. Okay, so it's point hit radius. Yeah, it was just point hit radius that I switched to an array, and looks like I had a lowercase I instead of uppercase I. Okay. So let's switch that back to an array. So I haven't actually reverted changes. What I'm looking at here is just the compare inside of get. And keep in mind, like, I am by no means an expert on this. So if you got advice for something I'm doing wrong, I'm absolutely going to listen to it. I would have manually looked at the pending changes to see if looking at the changes in a clean way would ring a bell. Okay, so I see what you mean. So instead of just jumping back in and switching them all back to integers to actually compare all of the changes ahead of time, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, especially working in code that I'm not as familiar with, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so yeah, you're right. Yeah. I thought you meant that I had actually gone through and did use the get to revert changes, but no, you're right. I did manually revert them by typing. Okay, so if we go and look at, so I'm gonna do the same thing here for the new PSHTML chart line data set. So I've got these integers here, and I removed some white space. Okay, didn't expect that. So data chart dot set point settings, point radius, point hit radius, point hover radius, point radius, point hit radius, point hover radius. Okay, so that all looks fine. So yeah, you're a good point. Yes, yeah, that was good advice. Okay, so but I'm gonna revert some more changes here and see if Oh, but you know what I didn't do this time? Is I've still got this. I'm gonna set it to known values. No, it's just those two files that I changed. So the reason this is showing up is because I've built it, so it's got the new module files, and those are the two files I changed. And I've got some test files in here. So I've got the scratch and the, those are the tests, as well as the test HTML. So those are the only two module files I changed. So point radius, I'm gonna switch this back to values that I know work. So 4, 0, and 0. And then just for kicks and giggles, refresh. Yeah, I didn't expect that to work. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm rebuilding it. Okay, going to restart PowerShell and re-import it. That's great advice. Yeah, only your change is supposed to be in there, but it doesn't mean that's all that's in there. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna whoops, expand that out. Actually, I think there's a shortcut key to hide that. Whoops. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Okay, I'm gonna zoom this out a little bit so I can see just a touch more. Okay, so here, so that first line at the top was just the comments. And here there's that change that I made. That's just a lowercase to uppercase change. And those are here's the methods I set. And so this is on the new PSHTML dataset. I just moved out some white space accidentally, and then data chart dot set point settings, point radius, point radius, point hover radius. Yeah, I mean that's a good idea to look there, because I can actually think of a time where the build didn't work the way I expected, and yeah. Okay. Oops. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna re-import it. So the new one. This is since switching that back to an array. So we get to see. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree, because you have no idea how many times I've assumed something and then spent a lot of time troubleshooting it, and then my assumption was wrong. Okay. So I've got, where to put my scratch file? Oh, I've got it open right here. Okay. So I'm going to recreate it and reopen it. So that didn't work. And I'm scratching my head because I'm not sure why. Invalid or unexpected token. No, there's not an easy way to figure that out. Okay. So we're not getting any errors, so it must be. Can you click on that? Absolutely. See what the token error is. So I'm not familiar with troubleshooting this stuff. So I mean, if I click on it right here, it's not bringing up anything else. If I click on this link to the chart.js, it does bring up. Here, let me see if I can expand this out a little bit. Nope. So if I go back to the console, I mean, this is as much as I can see. I don't see that there's another thing to click on. it would be nice to know what that token error is. I absolutely agree. Empty file. Chart is not defined at test.html:1. So let's it is saying line 1. How would I actually find out if that's empty or not? If I okay, there's some interesting data. Cloudflare. Huh. So here is just that straight link, which hosted on Cloudflare. Okay, okay. Let me go back to the errors here. So if I click on that chart.min.js, this is what it brings up, which is a bunch of interestingly encoded information. It does show Chinese characters. Yeah, I'm assuming that's not right. Yeah, I honestly have no. Let's look at. So here's the one that's actually hosted. So so I'm looking at the one that I've actually got up in Azure. At least something is wrong on line 1. Yeah, well, that's definitely wrong on line 1. These are completely different errors. So this is a graph that used to work, but now doesn't. But I just updated it. What if there's a bigger problem going on right now? I don't expect that. I'm back in. So I'm in VS Code. This is where I generated the chart that's actually uploaded to Azure. PSHTML. Let's see. I don't. How do I? So no one. Is there an easy way to see? I think we can actually see the. Oh no! I didn't want to see the actual module itself. Is there any way? Do you know if there's any way to see where an imported module actually came from? Because that I'm not. So let me explain what I'm doing here before I get too far. What I'm curious is, I generated this graph that we're looking at, this one hosted up in Azure, since making those changes, but I didn't import the module that I'm working on, and this one still isn't working. So that's what's really throwing me off right now. But these are our different lines. Downloads another JavaScript file from somewhere. Yeah, this is really strange as far as I can tell. So if I look at, let's see, which one are we looking at here? 7.6, 7.14. So look at this one. Oh, and here we go. We'll format it. I mean, that URL is correct, as far as I know. Maybe. So, how would we be able to determine what the correct URL is? So, if we, let's find out. So, chart.js. I think I'm looking at their documentation. Yeah. So this is that URL I believe this is even here. I'll copy it straight out of the source. So here's the URL, and here's what loads. Yeah, and that's just the pure JavaScript URL file, or file URL. Oh my goodness, this is I'm very confused at this point. Let's try. So here's just for the sake of it, here's Firefox, and it doesn't work, which, and the ones hosted up in Azure aren't working either. Okay, so can you click on the network in the JavaScript driver and reload the page? Let's find out. See, okay. Request for Control R. Whoops. Control R. Oh. Supposedly it's saying it's from the disk cache. Yeah, I bet it is. Okay, so then the question is, do you know how? So mine is saying it's loading it from cache. How would I go about clearing that cache? Is it just a simple dump of? I mean, here let's try in private, and that's, or incognito, and that's still. This is interesting though. Oh no, it still loads it from cache. Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna try another browser even. Okay. So here it is in Edge. So that file locally on my system is all borked. Huh. Wow, this is. Huh. Okay, so let's try Control F5. Let's try Control F5 because I'm not sure either. That's not doing anything. Yeah, and I would never know how to find that without your help, and I really appreciate you taking the time to help me. Okay, it looks like I'm not the only person that's tried to search for this. Control, press F5 once Chrome Dev Schools, and just open once. Oh, okay, so inside the Dev Tools, right click on the refresh button and a menu will, okay. Whoop. Well, now that I've gone down the rabbit hole so far, here we go. Okay, so Control R is the real, it's Control Shift R. Okay, so Control Shift R. Initiator size, okay. But this still doesn't work, weirdly enough. Okay, so I just did that, forced it to re-download that, and it's still, at least in Chrome, it actually did pull it from, So working with PSHTML module turns into, turns into doing a bunch of, let's see, can you see the content? So maybe I've got something going on in my system because it's even pulling it down. So Chrome's borked up for me. You know what? It is telling me I need to do an update. Let's do an update. Sorry. I'll check the response tab as soon as I just finish this update really quick on Chrome. Oh, my screen just went white. Oh, there we go. Okay, still getting an error though. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Okay, so response. Okay, so I'm gonna do Control-Shift-R again to force the reload. Okay, I'm letting waiting for the preview to load. So I am latest version of Chrome, as far as I know now. It was complaining about it to do an update for a couple days. I just had stuff going on. Okay, so yeah, the response tab is not needed anymore. We already saw it in the preview. Okay, fair enough. So you know what? I wonder if the graphs that he's got are this is PSClassUtils. Headers, okay. I'm looking at the headers. I'm not sure what to look for here. Besides the fact that it looks fine. Remote address. I don't know. Do you see something here that doesn't look correct? But what I was thinking is content encoding BR. Content encoding. Yeah, I guess I'm not familiar with that. Let's see. Google for Chrome displays JS in Chinese tells save HTML and UTF-8. Whoa! You know what? Thank you for that. You know what? So I'm looking at, this is the code that does work, and it's using encoding UTF-8. So let's try that, or excuse me, did work. So let's try that here, encoding UTF-8. Okay, so we'll try it here on the test. Okay, and we're gonna do it works. You know how many times I've been bitten in the butt by file encoding? Yeah, that was great. So I've got to run. I've got a lunch appointment to get to, but yeah, file encoding, man. Oh my goodness. I just feel like that's just like been my theme for the last couple of months. When I have these big problems, it ends up just being file encoding. Moral of the story, the encoding of a file is very important. That was a really good find. Man. Okay. I hate leaving this unresolved. But I'm gonna have to finish up I am getting there now to be to looking for encoding often. Gosh darn it. I'm just kicking myself because I've had encoding issues come up that I should have been thinking about that, but I wasn't. Ugh. Moral of the story, filing coding is important. At least you learned a bit of Java. I did. And thank you so much for taking the time to help me out that. I really, really appreciate you walking me through that. I've never done JavaScript decoding or debugging. Sorry. I know how to open the debugger tools. I know how to find the source of a HTML file through Chrome, but that's about it till today. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to help me out with the stream. This is why I love streaming, because it ends up being like pair plus programming. I had Stephane help me out. I had I'm not sure how to even pronounce the Purr. I'll call you Purr because that's your Twitch handle. And then Third and Goal, you've been back and helped me out. I really appreciate that. So it will be up on YouTube. I just do, I'll just do the export straight to YouTube from Twitch. It usually takes a few hours, but I try to stream every week. And I learned last week Tyler streams on Tuesday mornings, which is when I originally was starting to stream every week. So undecided what my weekly date and time is going to be. It might be Fridays, but Fridays aren't. I feel like Fridays are the days that I'm most likely to take off. So I'm thinking of a different day. If you guys like watching my stream, and you got a day that works better for you, let me know. Because at this point, my schedule's pretty open. I'm just trying to find something that works for the people that like to watch and for me. So anyway, again, sincerely, thank you for the help, JavaScript decoding, and for that nugget on using the encoding. I'd be willing to bet that when Stephane watches this, he's going to be face palming the whole time, being like, "Oh, check encoding," and then Third and Goal coming up with the encoding. That was good. So, all right, cool. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll just do it on Fridays, and then on the days that I take Friday off, I'll just swing it over to Wednesdays or something. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, again, guys, I am need to be walking out the door in a minute. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'll have it up on YouTube. Have a good one. Let's see. Per, I didn't actually see where you were from, but Third and Golden over in Austria. Cool. Anyway, thanks, guys.